So we won't see them, right?
Right. It says we're live.
Okay. So, okay. So since it says we're live, we're live.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Lucero, and I am the and this is my YouTube channel, and this is my webinar platform. And today we're going to be talking about sharing the opportunity. And I have asked Chelsea Kozachka, and I pronounced that right because I just asked her how to pronounce it. I have asked Chelsea to join us today because she is an amazing recruiter, and she has a really big team. Her first line is huge, and I'm just really impressed by her and how she shares the opportunity. And I feel like I turn around and every day she's onboarding somebody new. So I have asked her to talk to us today about her experience in sharing the opportunity. And then I am going to talk about my experience when she's finished. Chelsea, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. And you sound better now, Amanda, too.
Oh, good. Maybe we just needed to go live.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem. So before I couldn't hear her at all. Sure. So my story, just in a real nutshell. So I've been a consultant for about a year. My year was just the other day, actually. Yay. I live in Grafton, Massachusetts. I'm a mom of two young boys. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I have a husband who's pretty active with the business, and he helps me where he can. I was a full-time working mom when I started LuLaRoe. I started when I was on maternity leave. I had an 8-week-old. So I really probably wasn't the most opportune time to start, but there's never like a great time. You just got to go for it.
Right.
And it's been the best decision, really has. So I haven't looked back at all. And, it's been a great year, and I just can't even wait to see what happens this year. So
yes.
That's just like in a nutshell who I am and what's going on.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how you started growing your team, and what are some of the things that you do when you are sharing the opportunity?
Sure. Okay. So I guess I should start by just saying that when I started a year ago, I just wanted to sell some clothes. I had no intention of growing a team whatsoever, which I think that's pretty common. I think when people get into this, they're not going into this wanting to recruit. I had no direct sales experience. I just, I liked the clothes. I had my sponsor, Kara Lyons. I had shopped from her. I wasn't an addict, but I was attracted to the business opportunity, I guess, to be honest with you. I liked the clothes a lot, and I loved the leggings. I was pregnant at the time, so I fell in love with it that way as well. And now I'm a total addict, but. Yeah, in the beginning, I would say I was really interested in the opportunity. I was just kind of quietly watching Kara. We were in the same moms group, and I actually went to her first pop-up. And it's funny to think about it now because it was actually the first pop-up in New England, because Kara was the first consultant in New England. So yeah, it was the first pop-up in New England. It was at her house, and I just remember looking around being like, oh my gosh, she owns all of this stuff. This is crazy. And I went home that night and I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, this is nuts. And I sat and I thought about this opportunity for 6 months. And Kara didn't even know I was interested for the longest time. I'm kind of I'm more like an introvert, I'd say. Like, I'm not an extrovert. I don't like being the center of attention by any means. So I was one of those people that sat and thought about this for a long time before actually my husband was like, hey, stop talking about it and thinking about it and just try it. So I guess to start off is that when I started, I had no intention of growing a team. I just thought what Kara was doing looked like a lot of fun, and I wanted to sell some clothes. And so I was a full-time working mom at that point, and that was kind of hard for me too, to sort of see, like, does this work for a full-time working mom? Does it not work in my situation? And, I made it work the best I could in the beginning. And I think the first types of people that I started to, I don't even want to say recruit, because in the beginning people come, they really came to me. I didn't have any confidence in sharing the opportunity whatsoever. I would say that, so Kelly was a friend in our mom's group, and she was also a full-time working mom. And I think that just seeing another full-time working mom do this, it kind of made her think like, if she can do it, well, maybe I can do this. So I think in the beginning, it was just, I was sort of attracting the type of people that could relate with my situation. And I remember when Kelly, you know, we went out to coffee and, you know, I was just telling her about my experience. I hadn't been a consultant that long, maybe a month or so. And yeah, she wanted to onboard right then. And back those days, there was no queue or anything like that. So she just, you know, a week later, she basically had her inventory. But yeah, that was kind of crazy to me because I didn't, I was kind of clueless when thinking back about it because I had no direct sales experience and I didn't really understand the compensation plan even. I was like, okay, I'm going to get somebody on my team. That's great, you know. But I guess I didn't even really understand it. I didn't really have that long-term picture yet. But yeah, so that happened. And then, you know, just a couple other people, sort of similar situations where they, you know, they were full-time working moms, or maybe it was, I had a friend from high school who I happened to add to my group, Amanda, and she just, you know, she knew that I was selling and she had gone to a pop-up down in Atlanta, which is nowhere near Massachusetts. But yeah, so in the beginning, I'd say like people were kind of coming to me over it, and just by, you know, doing what you do and selling and being positive in your group and, you know, so in the beginning I did add every female acquaintance I had to my group. And that was really scary. I remember being like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to this person in 15 years and I'm going to add them to this group. And, you know, some of those people have become my best customers and some of those people have onboarded with me. So it's been kind of a lesson learned that, you know, it takes one click for them to leave. Just add them, just put them in there. So I guess that's how in the beginning things started for me, is it was just more organic. And then I think once I finally got it, I feel like I was kind of dense through the whole thing, but I feel like once I realized the opportunity and I kind of heard more and more about what was potential for this company and for growing your team, I guess I sort of got it more. I was more hungry for it. I was hungry. There was this guy at leadership last time, he kept saying that. But yeah, so I think I was more hungry for it, and I started sharing the opportunity more. And I was trying to think of some tips that I would give you guys in terms of what I would recommend. Probably the most basic one is, if you don't have a Google form for checkout online, I would create one. And I'll be honest, I don't even really use it that effectively for managing my online sales. It's more for asking a couple important questions. And my important questions are, do you want to host a pop-up? And that's another whole webinar, right? On like, it's a lot easier to ask people to host a pop-up if you know they're interested already. And my second question, which is probably the more important question, is, are you interested in learning more about the business?
Right.
So, you know, I think that's an easy way to know, hey, this person is at least curious and I should send them the business overview. And you'd be so surprised how many people check yes, they're interested when they check out with you online. So that's a really simple thing you can do today. So yeah, so make a Google form and ask that question. I guess the other, some more thoughts, just trying to think through what happened with me. So the potential consultants that could join your team, those are your customers, right? So customers become consultants. And I think that was like early on, like it just, you know, I would watch some of my great customers, you know, on board with other people. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, like I sell to that person too. Like I should be sharing this with my customers. It sort of dawned on me, just watching some big customers of mine join other teams. So along those lines, you know, your customers are potential consultants. And I know people talk about this so much in this business, but it is so important to establish personal relationships. So you don't want to just hide behind your computer screen. And, you know, if a customer has stuff to pick up from you, if you're home, you don't want to like leave it outside on your door. You want to bring your customers in. You want to talk to them. You want to get to know them. You want to find out what's their situation. And you can read a lot from body language and, you know, are they asking you questions? Do they seem inquisitive? You know, what are they doing with their lives? Are they full-time moms, or do they work full-time? What's their situation? So I guess my point is, get to know your customers. And not only will that help you recruit, but it'll help you sell too, because they'll be more loyal to you. They'll look at you like you're a real person. You cared enough to talk to them and get to know them. You're not in just, you know, otherwise, if they're just like pattern hunting, they're in multi-consultant sales anyway. They're not really after you. And you want the customers that are after you, that really want to get to know you. And those become your potential consultants. So yeah, so personal relationships are key. And along those lines, I think that the power of suggestion is actually really strong. So if you're talking to somebody and they, you know, you could just kind of see them fitting in really well with this business, it's okay to suggest that. It's okay to say, hey, have you ever thought about selling LuLaRoe? you know, and telling them about your story and telling them what you enjoy about it, and, you know, telling them about your success. It's okay to be successful. It's okay to share that with people. You don't have to numbers drop if you don't want to, but you know what? If they're interested and if they're asking and you want to tell them how well you're doing, tell them how well you're doing. Right. And along those lines, so a lot of you probably aren't in my group, and I have to say that. So I'm probably most successfully online. I'll fully admit that. Like my in-home pop-ups are kind of, you know, like I had a 96 piece one the other day, and I was like jumping up and down because I never have a 96 piece in-person pop-up. That just doesn't happen for me. So most of my personal success has been online. And I guess my suggestion on how to recruit in terms of your success is it's okay to kind of brag about it in a subtle way. So what I mean by that, so say if I have a good online sale and say I sold, you know, 200, 300 pieces, at the end of my sale, I'm kind of wrapping things up. I'm telling them how to check out. I'm telling them what to expect, when their invoice is going to come. But I also throw in there how many pieces I sold. And I do that for a reason. People aren't stupid. You know, they're in their head, they're kind of doing the math. They're like, oh, wait, Chelsea just sold 200 to 300 items, and they're going to make an assumption. Her average selling price is $35 and her margin's around 50%. Holy crap, that's a lot of money she just made. And it looked like she had a lot of fun doing it. People are not stupid. They're going to do the math and they're going to figure it out. And it's going to make them curious about what you're doing, and they're going to see that you're successful. So, and it doesn't, I'm not saying you have to sell 300 items online to be successful at recruiting, okay? There's people in the queue that are really successful at recruiting. I have a couple people in the queue right now myself that have people in the queue under them, and it kind of blows my mind because they don't even have a successful business to show somebody, right? So to think if they can do it, you guys got this. Like, this is nothing, right? You guys have a successful business to show people. So it's okay to brag about it subtly. You don't want to come off as like, you know, completely like your head is too big or anything. But it's okay to subtly brag and say, look, here's my success. And if your success is not online, say your in-home pop-ups are your success. And you've got to check out around your house. You know, your checkout line is huge and there's people shopping. You can't even fit them in your house. It's okay to like take a snapshot on your cell phone and be like, look, you know, look at, wow, this fundraiser I'm doing, look at all these people shopping, and you know, we raised this much for this charity, and isn't that so awesome? So whatever it is that you're successful at in this business, and I'm sure you guys are successful in all different ways, I guess my point is that it's okay to brag about that, and it's okay to highlight that on social media, and you should. That'll help you, not even just in your business, but it'll help you in your recruitment because people will see that. Yeah. And you know what? I would almost say, and I'll be completely honest here, sometimes I fib a little bit too. So maybe it's an off sale. Maybe like I didn't sell as much as normal. But do you think people are going to crawl through your sold comments and count how many items sold? No, they're not going to. So it's okay. You know, maybe you sell 150 and it's not as much as you normally sell, and you say, oh, I sold 200. Maybe you only sold 50 and you say you sold 100. I sleep okay at night doing that sometimes. Like if I'm having an off sale, I don't let my customers see that. If it's an off day, I don't show anybody that. Especially, you know, nothing on social media should be negative ever. And I know maybe that feels a little fake, but you know what? It's just, you have to stay positive in this business, and you have to portray that at all times on your personal page, on your group page. Yeah, you have to be positive. Even in tough situations, you have to always look for the silver lining. So, yeah, I guess I would say it's okay to fib a little bit. You know, you don't want to like grossly lie or anything, but it's okay to round up a little. Yeah, because nobody's going to be, you have programs that will tell, you know, hopefully my husband's program, you know, you have programs that tell you how much you sold every sale online. And so it's okay. You know immediately how much you're selling, and it's okay to tell them that. But if online's not your thing, talk about your home sales and talk about how well those are doing. Mm-hmm. So, because we're all successful at this in different ways. Trying to remember what else. Duds. I wanted to talk about duds a little bit because I was talking about how my in-homes are duds, and a lot of them are. I've had a lot of duds. I've driven to Vermont 4 hours for duds. Like I've done things where I'm like, you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I'm taking away time from my family, from my friends. I've got 2 young kids. What am I doing? My husband's wanting to divorce me, like, because I'm driving to Vermont for pop-ups. He thinks I'm nuts. And honestly, like, I have to say that you have to look at the bigger picture for things. You can't just say, oh my God, there's 4 people attending my pop-up tonight. What am I doing? You have to give those 4 people you're on 100%. You have to give them just an amazing experience, have to get them into some clothing that makes them feel beautiful, and take that extra time that you have to talk to them about the opportunity. Maybe you've got somebody there. I mean, I had a dud here the other night. It was in my house, so it wasn't a big deal because I hadn't moved everything like I know we all do so often. But I just took a little bit of extra time to talk to somebody that was interested, and now she's in the queue. So just use your duds. They're going to happen. They're going to happen. Not all sales are awesome, but just use them as a chance to talk about the opportunity. Right. And you never know. It might seem like a dud today, but it could be something huge tomorrow. One of my first online hosted pop-ups, I did for a college roommate. She was a best friend of mine. And I kind of did it begrudgingly. I was like, oh man, what is she going to bring to the table for me? I have pretty much the same contacts she does. Is it really going to grow my Facebook group? Probably not. But she was a good friend and she really wanted to do it. And I think back about that. And so I met Hope, who's a trainer of mine on my team, who's doing amazing things. She's got a big team of her own, and she's like, LuLaRoe has blessed her family beyond, like, she's getting big bonus checks, and I'm so proud of her. And I just think if I had not done that online pop-up, right, not only would my life not be different, you know, my life would be different because I wouldn't have Hope on my team, but her life wouldn't be different, and all her customers, and like Liverpool, Pennsylvania, right, is so into LuLaRoe because of Hope. That's and awesome. And I think so. It was a dud. It was something I didn't even want to do, but there was something bigger. There's a bigger picture behind it. So I guess my point is that don't get too caught up in your duds, because you might not see what good things are going to come out of it today, but in a month, in 2 months, something awesome might come from it. And it's going to hit you in the head, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I almost didn't even do that pop-up. Like, that would have been so stupid.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I don't, try to think what else I want to say. People that don't sign up with you, don't sweat it. It happens to everybody. I know Amanda talks about it a lot too. It sucks. It really sucks. It hurts. It stings like nothing else. I've had it happen a lot. You just have to move on and bless and release, and it's okay. I had 2 sorority sisters of mine join other teams, and you know, yeah, there's this part of me that's like wishing them that they get all green and mustard leggings in their initial orders. You know, like, I'll be honest. But you just have to like say good luck, and it's going to be awesome, and welcome them to LuLaRoe, and that's okay, because you're going to recruit like amazing people that want to be with you, and those are the people you want on your team anyway. You don't want the people that are going to take a bribe from somebody else or don't recognize how awesome you are to be, you know, their sponsor. So don't worry about those people. Yeah, and I guess yeah, just be a good fashion consultant. You know, do good at what you do and love what you do and be positive about it. If a customer wants to return something to you, take it back. You know, even if you didn't sell it to her, take it back. She might sign up with you tomorrow because you did something like that.
Right. You can make her day.
Right. Or you can make her day, and that's okay. Exactly. And you just made somebody's day. Giveaways. Do tons of giveaways. You know, give things away. You're going to make people happy. People are going to see that you're making other people happy. That's going to make them want to be with you. Make them, you know, and you can have people that you even gave stuff. I gave a Valentine's Day legging away to an awesome woman at my son's daycare. Her name's Zaina. I just gave her a free legging, and she'd tried nothing, and she put paperwork in the next day. So you never know what nice, you know, a random act of kindness, your intentions can really come back tenfold. So do those nice things for other people. It comes back. Yeah, and I'm rambling. So I guess that's, yeah. So Amanda,
I totally love what you said, and I'm going to kind of piggyback on some of the things that you talked about, Chelsea, because I think that they're excellent. The first thing that I wanted to, and I just wrote notes down as you were talking about how I want to piggyback on them, but Dan always says, Dan, Kenny, all of those guys, they always say, build your bench. And that's like a basketball team. You know, they're looking for really good shooters, really good defense people. You don't just want to just build, because you're going to get some people who are not going to be the best consultant that they can be. You want to build your bench with people who are like-minded, people who are like you, and people who are going to be, you know, really good consultants. So keep that in mind as you're recruiting. You know, one thing Chelsea mentioned is people are bribing. I call it bribing, or they're offering incentives. for people to join their team. When, okay, you're going to offer that, then they're going to always expect something like that. What you want to offer is yourself. You want to offer you as the sponsor. You don't want to offer something that's free. You don't want to offer, services or whatever it is. You want to offer yourself and what you can offer them as being their sponsor. And also your team, Chelsea's team, my team, all of us have teams we all work together. So consider that as your recruiting, because by handing them a reward, they're going to always expect that. And then they might not do as good a job because of that incentive. As you're going around in your pop-ups and different things like that, even online, you're always planting seeds. Like Chelsea said, she had this in the back burner for a few months. And Kara didn't know that she was planting the seed, but she was. So just keep that in mind as you're out there online and at your pop-ups, to always be positive. Exactly what Chelsea said. Always give your full self during these things, even if it's a dud, even if it's whatever it may be. Just always be positive, always be 100% you, and that is going to be planting seeds all over. You're going to be planting seeds with your giveaways, with your random acts of kindness, and just showing people that you love what you're doing. And that leads me to my next thing. That's how you're naturally recruiting, just by showing people, even though you're not physically like, hey, look, people are going to be watching you, and that's going to plant the seed that they can do it too. That's the natural way of recruiting. Now you can also purposefully recruit by what they've been doing lately. They've been having us write down 10 names of people that we would like to share the opportunity with, and then you specifically go to them and you talk to them and you share the opportunity. That there's two different ways of doing it: naturally and purposefully. And naturally, just by showing that you love what you do, and purposefully by saying, I really think you would do great at this. And like Chelsea said, you're going to be able to read body language if they're asking questions, if they're liking posts, different things like that, to help you know if, I should keep pursuing this, or this one, maybe she just needs to sit on it for a little while. I will tell you that somebody that I recently recruited, it took her 2 years. She was the first person I did a pop-up for. She was the first person I even told that I was starting LuLaRoe, and she just onboarded last month. So you never know who's going to do it. And then one thing I wanted to say off what Chelsea said is the power of suggestion. If you see somebody is purchasing a lot of LuLaRoe, their addiction might need to turn into being a consultant, because if they're buying so much LuLaRoe, they're loving it. And even though maybe they have a full-time job or whatever it is, just keep, hey, you could do this. I really think you could. And don't press it. You don't want it to be like annoying, but you really could put that in their mind. And two things that Deanne always says. She says everyone is a customer, everyone's a consultant, or everyone is a connection to a customer or consultant. So keep that in mind, even when you're doing pop-ups, even when you're trying to book your parties. And then the other thing that Deanne always says is some will, some won't, so what's next? And I keep that in my mind about everything, but especially about recruiting, because like Chelsea said, when somebody that you've been working with goes to somebody else, it's like a dagger in the heart. You're like, she should have been on my team, but you just got to bless and release and let it go and move on. So who's the next possible recruit? So I don't know if you guys can ask questions or if you have any questions, but we are going to post the link to this webinar in the Pride. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you have a question, you can also ask the question there. Chelsea, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
No, I think you hit on some good ones. No, I think I'm good.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today. I know summer's always busy. I was out in the garden right before, and you were at a swim lesson, right?
Yeah, I was hurrying home, but yeah, I made it all right. So
good.
Yeah, no, I really, I just want, I don't know, like I've been challenging my team. I want to see them at leadership in October. I want to see them in Deanne's office getting a big fat check and seeing their lives, but blessed. you start wanting this for other people so badly. And, you know, you can do it. You really can do it. The bigger piece, I mean, this thing, we've all seen such big growth recently, but I just think this is like the tip of the iceberg. I think this thing is just going to explode. So people, you know, you want them on your team. You want these people on your team as long as they fit in and they're like-minded people, and, you know, you want them to sign up with you. So don't be afraid to share the opportunity. It's awesome. And, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. So.
Right. And one thing I did forget to say is when those people do go to other teams, yes, it's a dagger in the heart, but you need to realize and keep this in mind that if they went somewhere else, you don't want them anyways, because you want people on your team who are going to be supportive and, like I said, like-minded, and you're building your bench. You're building your team the way that you you want to see results. So, and not just results for you, and I'm not trying to be that, but results for them, because you want them to succeed as well. Well, thank you, Chelsea. I really appreciate that. We're going to post this link and you can ask questions, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you.
Bye, guys.